and the occasionally based, occasionally Neil deGrasse Tyson soy face. They love that Elon. It's this idea that Americans aren't good enough, this misunderstanding of what America is. You're just as bad as the people you bought the website from, if this continues to be the case. Are you able to listen to valid criticism? It's not from Russian bots. It's not a coordinated attack on you. It's tens of thousands of people pissed off because they think you betrayed them. I hope to God you're a leader. The rest of you can keep watching this right now. Check it out. asmongold.com/ what's the guy's name? Moist Critical. That's the website. asmongold.com/ Moist Critical. You can now, if you're not Elon, you can jump over to the regular video and start watching. What I actually believe, I think that the U.S. economy is grinding to a halt, and that the tech bros and investors, it's like someone tweeted about this, the bubble in the Japanese economy, where Japan was faced with the decision to either start importing people or get ready for a long winter. I saw that tweet and that immediately rang true. I think that these investor bros are counting on AI to offset the loss in productivity of this dying empire. It's slowly being realized that AI is, for all intents and purposes, a glorified spell checker. I use AI all the time. I'm a pro subscriber to ChatGPT and Perplexity.ai. I have Perplexity AI as my default search engine, and it's about as good as searching forum posts was 20 years ago. It's not some revolutionary thing. It's extra-dimensional autocomplete. The words have weighting and tone and various other dimensions that are vectors, and what you get at the end of it is an article that can almost fool a computer into thinking it was written by a human. I think there's a game of musical chairs going on with money, and people are desperate for a way to keep that game of musical chairs going, even if it means fucking us over. The idea that these tech guys want to bring in exceptional people is just not true. They're looking to hire basically slaves who can't leave their company without leaving the country, who will work for 50%. That's the other thing. They keep saying they'll work 80 hours a week, which is bullshit. Nobody works 80 hours a week. They work 20 hours a week of actual work, and the rest of the time is spent fucking around on the phone and showing the boss that they're working 80 hours a week, sitting in the office. They're not actually working 80 hours a week. And furthermore, why should anybody have to work 80 hours a week? Why is this a race to create slaves? Why is that a good thing? Why is that a humane thing? Why is that good for humanity? How is it possible, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, if you're left or right, why is it a good thing to want slaves? They'll work 100 hours a week. They'll work in their sleep. They'll work 200 hours a week. They'll work infinity. They'll have no lives. That's not a good thing. If you want more hours out of somebody, you have to pay them more. It's just money. They'll do it for 20,000. That's what they're saying. They're pretending like they're complimenting their diligence and their work ethic. What they're really saying is we can hire them for cheaper.
Yeah, it's an insult.
That's what that means.
Yep.
80 hours a week or pay them 100,000 more a year. It's the same thing. They're just saying you can pay these people 150,000 instead of 400,000, or 80,000 instead of 250,000. It's just money. Any system that gets set up is going to be gamed. This one is gamed by Indians who are master gamers. Pull up the Cognizant article. This is a company that was found guilty of setting a pattern and practice of discrimination against non-South Asian and non-Indian workers. That's not the intention of the program. The intention of the program is to create a meritocracy. But like Thomas Sowell said, you have to judge things on their outcomes, not their intentions.
Yes.
You could make a law called the Everybody Good, Free Money, Everything Good law.
Bingo.
But if the end result is that quality of life goes to shit, that's what you have to judge it on. And so this H-1B stuff, you can't judge it on the floral, high-minded, beautiful, humanistic language that's used to sell it. That's just propaganda. You have to judge it on the end result. That here's another one: hire workers at a fraction of the cost of American workers, force them to work longer hours because they won't leave their job, because if they quit, they're gone from America. This is not helped by a government oversight committee or anything like that. It's just the case that when you set up a system that can be gamed, it gets gamed. That's how people work. They're looking for the path of least resistance. They're looking to maximize their benefit from the system. That's just human nature. Massive payouts over claims they discriminated against American workers in favor of foreign workers. Apple paid $25 million to the deal, which is like $25 to a regular person. Apple engaged in a pattern of citizenship status discrimination in recruitment positions. The claim that we can't find talented people here is nonsense.
Yeah,
it's dishonest.
Total bullshit.
The claim should be that we can't afford to pay talented people enough, or we don't want to. Sorry for getting overly serious here with you. At the end of the day, I think you should buy Bitcoin. There's this tendency to want powerful people or people in a leadership position. You get emotional when their every worldview doesn't line up with yours. You know, Trump's not based enough, or Joe Rogan's too whatever. But these are the men who define our times. And I think it's important you allow them to be flawed people to some extent, but also to push back when they go nuts. But in this case, I think that, it's critically important. It's moist critically important. It's moist critical. This is the whole thing that Moist Critical says every time we talk to him. He put it all on the line to become the free speech guy.
Yeah.
And to turn Twitter into the global discussion space of the world.
He has not done that.
And you don't accidentally become adored by people. He can't just say, oh, I was just building a business and then I was saying stuff online and then I guess people looked up to me. No. There are plenty of quiet billionaires. There are plenty of quiet money makers, inventors. There are plenty of quiet engineers. There are plenty of people who aren't going to the Met Gala in the Satan costume. Okay? There are plenty of people like that. You don't accidentally become the hope of a nation. You don't accidentally become the hope of a generation. You don't.
Yep.
So if he wants that, I think he can have it. And I think he deserves a shot at course correction. He's been under attack by everybody for his whole entire career. So I think he deserves that shot. Yeah. If he fumbles this, then that's his legacy. I don't have any sort of committed opinion as to what's going to happen from here. I'm mostly concerned with Asmongold, as we said. Moist Critical, what games are they playing? Tall Guy, what was that game we played?
Tall Man Run.
Tall Man Run, that's what I'll be doing tonight. A little bit of Raid Shadow Legends, is that the game? Last War Survivor, big into that these days. I'm mostly doing that. I'm Elon's #1 ranked Diablo 4, huge achievement. I'm #1 ranked Raid Shadow Legends. Raid what? Last Survivor?
Last Survivor.
I'm #1 on that Last Survivor.
You never had the pleasure of running into Sam Hyde on the internet. Well, now you have. Fascinating character. Let's see. Most of you probably recognize his image from seeing people pretend that he's a school shooter every time there's a school shooting. That's him. That's Sam. He's not wrong, though. Surprisingly level-headed commentary from him. Usually, obviously he went off and did his usual comedy bit here and there, but kind of... Oh, hello. Did I hear someone there?
You did.
Oh, cool.
I've been quietly sitting in the background.
We're past 8 o'clock. My goodness.
Listen, I was listening. It was all good.
Cool. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? Oh, it's been a busy day, Mr. Pam, you know.
Good.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. Let me drop that link out there.
Yeah, I have had my suspicions about Vivek since the very beginning.
Yeah, me too.
And so, like, when I found out, I did some digging and found out his father's not even an American citizen, but, he ran for president, and he was all like, oh, America's the best. And his father, after 4 decades, his mother did, but his dad, and he says for familial reasons. But, in India, they still have the caste system. So it's just like this layer upon layer upon layer. And, and then what Trump said in 2016 about HB1s, that it needed to be eradicated. But now
completely.
he's completely flipped the script on what he said. It's alarming. It is. And then
And
to
it's
Charlie
okay
Kirk,
to like call them on it. People like they're not gods. You can say that, and it's okay. You can say that they're wrong. Like,
yeah, we're not Antifa, right? So we shouldn't have to like walk to this dogmatic beat. Like if we can't call out the other side and our own side about things that we don't agree with, then we have become the fascists
yep.
that we pretend to stand against. So yeah, that's what we're supposed to be against. Is we all have to get in line and agree with everything that somebody says. We're supposed to be different.
And he's right that if people like if Musk would like take a step back and say, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that, people would forgive him like in a second. No problem. We'd be good with it. Like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You apologize. Let's move on. We'll keep making America great.
Yeah, and what's weird is while you were doing that, I was pulling stuff up. I actually went to Sam Hyde's Twitter below it because you get a lot of really great responses. Somebody had posted, and I'm going to follow up after you. Vivek in October of 2024 said H-1B visas are a broken system resulting from direct Silicon Valley lobbying that treats workers like slaves. Yet fast forward to today, and he's all like, "Oh, we need more."
Same thing with Elon's ball washer, Ian Miles Chong. Same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing.
The guy that acts like he's American from Malaysia. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, like 5-6 years ago, people dug up posts of him shitting on H-1B and how fucked up it is and how wrong. And now here we are 5 later and he's shilling for it. Like what?
Yeah, it's very strange. And then you look into all the fraud. I posted several articles on my X page. I was actually going to do it for a show, but all the fraud about how some people are on these H-1Bs and they're just personal chefs in rich people's houses. That's the critical jobs we need to fill.
Yep.
And then Charlie said something about there's another visa because to his credit, he stood against it. He's like, this is not good. He said there's like another visa called like O1B or something. Yeah, O1A. Okay, yeah. Then you know that's if you're really looking for these really prestigious occupations or jobs that need to be filled. There is that visa. So yeah, something stinks, right?
Yeah, I've not been enjoying this. I'm not too pleased. Not the greatest thing to see heading into the new administration.
Yeah, but we got to call it out, right?
But like, it's not pleasing to see this.
Yeah, but that's what we're here for, is to call it out. MAGA is different. MAGA's not left. MAGA's not right. Like, MAGA is its own movement. It's its own. We'll call out corrupt Republicans just as quick as we'll call out the corrupt Democrats. And if we can't Trump got booed on his own rally when he started bragging about warp speed and the vaccine. But now all of a sudden he's immune from this. I'm not doing it, and you're not doing it, and that's it. That's all. It's just me and you, dude, against the world. All right, let's get off here and go enjoy the rest of your day, man, or night.
Yeah, night, whatever, same deal.
Yeah,
it's all the same to me.
Right?
I don't have any distinction between day and night anymore.
The shows that you covered, I don't. Yeah, you have to have the sleeping pattern about like mine.
Yeah.
I call it Discord time. When we had Discord, you'd wake up, 2 in the afternoon. I'm like, I'm not 22 anymore.
Yep.
I can't be doing this, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
man.
It's all you. You have a good show.
Thank you, hon. Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right, we are here. It is Happy New Year's and the Patriot Soapbox. We are winning, right? Listen, what I just got done talking about with Pam, I think it's so important to just push that narrative home, drive that home with people that feel like you can't push against Trump or you're some kind of traitor. Like, I cannot stand that mentality. It's the same thing as a Christian that I feel like when I hear people telling me that certain people aren't good enough Christians or they need to be a better Christian this way. I'm like, who are you? Like, just chill out. Let people find their own paths. Welcome them with open arms. Let people ask questions. The minute you buck up and give them a brick wall, they're not going to try and climb over it. They're just going to turn around and walk the other way. So be open to like having people have discussions. I think that's what's important. Again, with this movement, especially with people that started out with Q, right? Like, that's what we learned in researching all those posts. Look at how many different directions people go off one Q post. You'd have some people thinking that certain acronyms would stand for one thing. Other people took it in a whole nother direction. But people were on different paths, digging into their own rabbit holes, coming into their own conclusions. And I don't remember a time when anybody came in here going, "You nut job, you crazy person, you don't care, blah, blah, blah." We were all like, "Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that. I might not agree with you. I actually think it means this." But I always said we were the teachers, right? We had already been through the school, we graduated, we were all impatient because we're watching these little baby birds called, leftists that are waking up and they're finally opening their eyes. And we're like, "Oh my God, we were here 7 years ago. Thanks for coming to the party." Being patient, understanding that we already got our graduation caps and we're already over the finish line, we have our doctorates, but there are people that just started kindergarten going to have to coddle. And my Lord, maybe start with the chemtrail story or something. Don't take them all the way to the trafficking stuff. Let's start small. But that's the same thing. I think the point is being made with this stuff, with this H-1B stuff, is like we have been pretty consistent on the immigration, right? And then kind of lying about it, like the fact that we don't have enough Americans to do the job. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Well, first off, let me start off here. Hello, everybody. See, I get talking to Pam and I just go off. It is New Year's. I'm excited that you're all here. Thank you for spending it with us. And I need to give a shout out to the host today. We were really busy in the background today, and they really came through, made my life a lot easier. It was a team effort, and I know y'all don't get to see a lot of stuff behind the curtains, but I must give a huge shout out to the hosts that really came out, and energy and effort. And thank you so much. What I'm talking about, much love. And then I think that we're just a little bit of celebrating, and then we're going to fall off the cliff, because I'll probably get into something serious. I didn't do it last week because it was flipping Christmas Day. Okay, so I was like, well, I can't do nothing, depressing or horrible on Christmas Day. And then now I'm here on New Year's. I'm like, okay, listen, it is what it is. So we'll get out a little celebrating here. Let me drop out my thing. So if y'all want, oh, and I did something else today too. I can't forget about that. I've got an idea about starting the shows out and getting you guys involved. The thing, it's for me personally. Like I will hit hover above chat. I don't know if you guys know I do this or not, but I will kind of like watch chat and watch certain shows. And some of you guys are super interesting, like the jobs you've had, the things you do, stuff that I think it was like LC show from like 3 weeks back. Like there was a group of you guys out there he got into talking about cars, and y'all started talking about like the cars that you'd built, the things that you were working on, the cars that you owned. I was like, what the heck? We should have a whole daggum car show or something, and let some of you people like share like some of the images of the cars you've had. It was pretty cool. I don't know. I that's just a thought. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll show that first so I don't forget. Who is you talking? I don't know who's up. Pogram. Who is Mossad? I don't know what to tell you. Lord help us all. I did. I don't want to lose my spot there. Oh, let me just start here. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, what I was pulling up today. Okay, I'm kind of skeeting over to something else. It goes along with what Pam was sharing. And we'll do that. But I hope all y'all are doing good. I hope you had a good New Year's. I made my black-eyed peas with my ham hock. That's tradition. That's the only thing I worried about doing. I need the luck. Black-eyed peas is supposed to bring you good luck. Well, let's do this, okay? Let's have a little like dance party or something out there. Bring it home that this is 2025. We are winning. Trump won. That's a good thing. We can disagree about him on certain things, but at the end of the day, we won. Could you imagine if Kamala had won? Now, I wouldn't be worried about H-1B visas. I'd be worried about the Constitution. So there's that. So I thought I'd play a little of this to keep us in the mood of remembering that we won. We should be celebrating for sure. We got 19 days. And guys, I've been busy in the background today. I had no idea about the Louisiana car thing, and I just before I came on, I saw the thing about the Tesla truck. I was like, "Good grief!" I've been pretty busy today, so I'm gonna play this, and I think it's pretty uplifting. You've probably seen this before, but it's New Year's. We gotta keep the happy mood.
And I said to him, she's going to take every one of the swing states plus Iowa. And he said, oh, but the numbers are so close. I said, I'm a political analyst. I'm telling you right now, the numbers are there. She's taking this election.
Trump didn't win Pennsylvania.
Have a major projection. CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This is a huge, huge achievement for Donald Trump.
And listening to a single Democratic politician ever again.
So you won't hear from the vice president tonight?
Breaking news from the decision desk. NBC News can now project that Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin, which means he is the winner of this race and will return to the White House as this country's 47th president.
I went to sleep.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I
think that's pretty awesome. I know we've seen that before. We've seen that before, but I'm sure other people have played it. But I thought it was pretty amazing. This is something else that it brought up to this article. I might share this with you guys. I'm not going to go through it, but it was about the mandate and just how big it was. It's on a guy's Substack, and he goes through about it. Like it just wasn't like that Trump won the presidency. It's like how many of these counties, like in even California, that were blue that have now like are light blue or turning light red. You know what I'm talking about? Like the amount of shift that went over. And I think that is something that we need to keep in mind, that I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe y'all disagree with me. Again, I don't look at the MAGA movement. I'm gonna stop sharing it so I can see my chat and I can send this to you guys. I don't look at the MAGA movement as like a left or right thing. I look at it as a movement all in itself. It's like we are different, right? We're outside the box. Like, does that make sense? Like, it's like we will call out either side. We're not in a cult. It's like it's not like if one of them mess up, we're saying, oh, they're on my team, therefore I can't say anything. I think that's what makes this movement special. Oh, hey, Pug, where are you stuck? I don't know where I'm stuck. I thought it was on the ground or on coast. Oh, he's talking about something else. I was like reading Pug. I was like, what's going on, Pug? All right, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes, I think, the MAGA movement so important. And I want to say this too. I think, of course, MAGA wouldn't have be as big as it is without the people that started in the Q movement. I think that's a huge part of it as well. Like, we learned how to do the research, we learned how to dig in, and we learned how to disagree. And then what I was mentioning earlier about even our deep dives, we learned to have thick skin. We were called all kinds of names. So all these people that are like, I can't believe they called me racist or a white supremacist, be like, please. We've been called that for years. Like, it's been rolling off our back for a long time. But whatever. Like, you know, it is what it is. Maybe I'm different. Are you giving out free ivermectin, freedom fighter? Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I just think it's important that everybody kind of remembers that. We're going to have our disagreements as well. But, like, don't forget, like, you don't ever want a disagreement to divide us from, like, the root cause of what's really important is getting these people out of office that don't care about our future or the kids' futures. Like, you know, they're okay with ruining our country and selling us out to foreign leaders, and they don't care. So that's the shift to me that needs to happen. Is like, you know, from school boards to state representatives. You know, you need citizens in those positions that care. And I don't care how much experience you have or if you've held an office before or whatever. A lot of times that makes you corruptible. Not always, but like I would trust a stay-at-home mom of 15 years that is willing to fight for the country and willing to learn more than somebody that's held a position for 15 years inside of DC. You know, I mean, maybe I'm alone on that shit, but I don't think I am. I think all of you understand. We've been out here for a long time reading Run for School Board. You know, take a position in there to make sure that your children aren't being indoctrinated, because that is what they're doing. And y'all might have seen this too, like in even the shift of like, by the way, I'm not an idiot. I know sometimes that there's people right now trying to grift over from the left I'm stuck on Pam's thing, over on the left that kind of shifting to the right, and give those people grace, because, you know, I give them grace because I used to be one of them. I was one of those people that thought I was always a Democrat because I really wasn't heavily into politics. I didn't really know enough about it. Couldn't have told you who the Attorney General was. I had no clue. I thought the Democrats were for the working class, and my dad was always part of like the United Technologies Union or whatever. He worked for Carrier. It's an air conditioning manufacturing company. He was forced into early retirement because they moved the plant to Mexico. He's one of those people that had to train his replacements, you know, for the factory they were building in Mexico. He'd been there for like 35 years. And so, yeah, at least he got retirement. There were a lot of guys that had been there for 12 or 15 years that just lost everything, lost all that seniority and stuff. So I've seen it happen in real time. But like this, you know, how they're showing that it's, look, high Democrat, they're going more to the right. You know what I mean? Like, that is huge. New York's dramatic red shift sees Trump support grow in nearly every county. So that's what we've done, we've been a part of, and we've accomplished. You guys are all a part of that. You got involved. You know, like, look at the the watchers at the voting sites. How many people went out there and didn't allow 2020 to happen again? That stuff's huge. Oh, and this is what I was talking about before, by the way, is like that Ramaswamy's father's not a U.S. citizen. I was like, what is that about? Like, I don't. Again, hey, listen, there could be reasons, and as I got everything. I have even the clip of them talking about it. I'll show that with y'all. To tell you, let him hear it out of his own mouth. But this dude's always been a little sketchy with me. See, y'all might disagree with me there, and that's okay. Y'all might love Vivek, then that's okay. But he's always kind of weirded me out, both him and Tulsi. But again,
your mother took. You've lately been talking on the campaign trail more about your mother than your father, and some folks have been asking questions, and I just want to be super clear. Did your father also take the citizenship test, and is your father a citizen?
He did not, and that's a choice that he has made for familial reasons, but my mother did, and I think
familial reasons when his wife and kids is in America, but see, they got the caste system.
Every immigrant who comes to this country in order to become a full voting citizen has to do the same, and I believe in being consistent about my policies where...
So your father is not a citizen of the United States?
He's not.
Okay. And your mother, when did your mom take the citizenship test? Was it before or after you were born?
After I was born.
After you were born. Okay.
After years of being in this, following the legal process of becoming a naturalized citizen, she followed it through the legal process. And
so
I don't know, guys. Again, that feels a little weird. She didn't go for citizenship until after he was born, but his dad didn't. And I don't know, Mo's out there. Maybe I've been looking at the stuff too long in Hollywood and music and stuff, and I see a conspiracy behind every corner. I try not to do that, though. I work really hard to not do that. But, I'm not perfect at it. I'm sure I screw up or whatever. But, it is what it is. So I pulled that from there. Oh, that's what I've been working on. That's work right there. That's the schedule, the host, time slots. It's an interesting story that came out. This was come out a few days ago. And I don't know if y'all know this story. If you don't, I'll give you a little brief insight. There was this orca, also known as killer whales, that she had lost her calf. This happened about, I think, 4 years ago, if my memory serves me, that she was so grieved by losing her little killer whale calf that she carried it around for like 17 days. She kept it up to the surface, yada, yada, yada. Well, she had another calf. So that's kind of sweet. That's all, New Year's. She has another baby. She's got another baby. We're all pro baby around here. So listen, this is a heartwarming story. The orca whale that lost her baby had another baby.
In the wake of Washington State, a rare sighting of a superpod of southern resident killer whales. They were breaching and playing. Among the group, a brand new baby, just a day or two old.
I actually punched my coworker in the shoulder and said, "There's a calf."
Sarah McCullough was the first to lay eyes on the calf, known as J57. While a newborn is always cause for celebration, this birth is special. The mother orca is J35. In 2018, people around the world were moved by her apparent act of mourning. She carried her dead calf for 17 days, 1,600 kilometers, before finally letting go. In July, scientists learned that she was pregnant again.
To have her have a calf was just heartwarming, not only for her, but for the entire community, that with these animals being so critically endangered, every life matters.
Researchers say the whale appears healthy, even precocious. They're cautiously optimistic.
There is only a 50% survival rate for the first year. So the next 12 months are going to be incredibly important, not just obviously for the survival of the individual calf, but for the population trajectory as a whole.
Because the southern residents number just 73. Their primary food is Chinook salmon, and those fish are becoming scarce too. There are also concerns around pollution and noise emanating from marine traffic. The orcas typically hunt in the Salish Sea in the summer, but there have been few sightings this year.
With the absence of our southern residents in these waters for so much of what is historically their native feeding grounds, their fishing grounds, it really says that when the shelves are bare, the whales aren't there. They're having to go farther.
Which is why a new whale is such a welcome addition for a group that's still struggling to.
So isn't that sweet? She had a baby. Let me breathe. Yeah, they are top predators for sure. But it's crazy how somebody can swim out in the ocean and they leave that person alone. Now you can't do that with a tiger shark. Okay, you're going to become dinner. But we're the false prophets. We're talking on religion out here. AOC said J-Pod Springer. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it is the J-Pod. Mo's telling you drop something in her D-Live channel. SouthernTake, don't we find it very odd that we know so much about the terrorists on day one? Army and Navy confirmed, citizen status, etc. Are you talking about the Louisiana guy? I'm telling y'all, I was doing all this a couple hours before the show. I had been slammed today with soapbox stuff. So I apologize, but I'm telling you, like this, so I brought it with Benny. If this is what you're talking about, I'll play this because I plan on playing it anyway. He just uploaded this a few hours ago about the New Orleans one. SoCo for host A1. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you're taking a tally. Lord help me. Holy day, bud. I used to be one a long time ago, and then I started in the background, and then, it is what it is. I go through my hazing period, too. I've been there, done that. But, yeah, well, I'll play some of this if y'all... Johnson's X account. Let me see what Sassy just dropped. Trump. I got that kind of some of that stuff pulled up too, the Cybertruck, but I don't have a lot of time.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Breaking news. There has been another horrific terrorist attack, and it may be connected to ISIS here in the United States of America. 10 people have been killed in New Orleans when a vehicle that was rented just days ago drove through a large crowd on Bourbon Street. If you're not familiar with New Orleans, Bourbon Street is where huge numbers of people hang out.
I thought people were saying that he wasn't. See, again, guys, y'all gonna have to tell me more. I need to pull my phone so I can see it too. But telling me that that he was an illegal immigrant, and now they're saying he's an American citizen. I don't know.
And go and party and drink and live their lives and tend to do so happily. It is not a happy new year for these people or for the country, as everyone is gripped with what the FBI is calling a terrorist attack when a man drove through this large crowd of revelers. Again, there's going to be bowl games in New Orleans, right? There's going to be college football bowl games, a lot of people visiting there. There's always lots of tourists in New Orleans and people going to Bourbon Street. It's a very famous place. And this guy killed 10 people and then apparently got out of the vehicle, started shooting, and was wearing a camo gear, tactical gear, trying to cause as much damage as possible. And we know who the suspect is now. We'll get all into it. Let's go to the breaking news. FBI probes ISIS link to New Orleans terrorist attack, slaughtered at least 10 people on Bourbon Street. Ladies and gentlemen, the FBI is now looking into whether the man who drove a truck into the New Year's revelers in New Orleans French Quarter, killing 10, had connections to ISIS because he had the ISIS flag on his vehicle. It was a Ford electric vehicle owned by a 42-year-old man from Houston, Texas. The truck has reportedly been rented out on Turo, which is a rental platform where you rent somebody's private vehicle, right? It's not like you go to a rental car lot. You actually just rent someone's vehicle that they own, and then you take it for a spin. The police are in contact with the owner who listed it for rent. There's nothing illegal about that. A lot of people use Turo. The gunman was killed by police when he slammed the truck into pedestrians celebrating on New Year's, started firing. The authorities investigating the mass casualty incident say the driver showed very intentional behavior driving into the crowds, city of French Quarter, and then got out and started firing a weapon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, something that is a breaking news story. There are eyewitnesses who are recalling exactly what happened and how New Orleans did not use their iron barricades to protect the revelers on New Year's Eve, instead opting for flimsy yellow ones.
I mean, she was an older Hispanic woman.
Isn't that weird too? Like, why would the one day you know there's going to be heavy crowds, you don't use like your barricades? That's weird. To, I think Q-Who's point of there earlier, and we know how to see the sign, right? So sometimes when they stink, they smell. When they smell, they're rotten.
Probably in her mid-30s. She had a wedding ring on her finger. We were that close.
I just didn't know if there were kids or, any kids around.
No, there was no small.
It was 3 a.m.
No small children.
Okay.
No small children. None in our area.
Right. Did you see, when you were looking down from the balcony, did you see the truck? Did you see the suspect?
Oh, he had been gone. That's what I was telling other news sources. Like, we have these hydraulic steel barriers from past events. Last Mardi Gras, this happened to an extent, maybe not terrorism, but still people getting hit in mass population with vehicles. Those barricades were not on, period. They had the flimsy orange ones that you could just push over with your finger. We actually thought it was kind of odd, because usually when you get to Bourbon Street, you can turn your back to Canal and not worry about anything. You can just walk the street, especially on New Year's, and there were still vehicles coming after 8 p.m.
So they didn't put up the steel barricades that they had there for protection? Why? Can somebody explain that? Can somebody explain why? Here are the images of the individual in the truck. This is the truck itself that was used. You can see bullet holes there in the back of the truck. And again, why was this vehicle allowed to drive down this busy street anyway? There are places all over my home city here in Tampa, and probably your home city, that are meant for pedestrian walking. And there are iron barricades to prevent anyone. Sometimes maybe it's a terrorist suspect. Maybe it's just some grandmother who thinks she's driving down a road.
See, when I saw this, I thought him zooming in makes more sense now. I thought, is that a jacket? Like, first of all, it was like hanging over the door, but now I saw it literally like on a flagpole. And it looks like, see right here, it looks like it's like wire or a piece of cloth or something that they've tied around it to close it up. So like, I don't know, from cameras, from people taking pictures of it or something. That was weird to me, because it wouldn't be bunched up here and like gathered right there if they hadn't have intentionally strapped that thing up. Maybe I'm wrong, but do y'all see what I'm talking about there?
But to prevent anybody from going through those areas, and it gives you great peace and peace of mind as a parent, just let your kids run around and everything, knowing that there's not going to be a car flying down the street.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I get what you're saying. They put a jacket over it to hide it, and then okay. But that's where my first red flag came from, was kind of hiding that.
New Orleans attacker has been identified as 42-year-old Shazmood Din Jabbar, who had an ISIS flag. So, I mean, listen, guys, the FBI is saying this was a terrorist act. This individual is clearly somebody who, if you're flying an ISIS flag, is connected with ISIS, right? You'd have to assume that. And these terrorist attacks are something that have happened on American soil multiple times before, or have been foiled multiple times before. How long until the FBI says that they knew the suspect, right? You can set your watch by it. We also know that the rented truck contained explosives. He was wearing full body armor. We know why the FBI originally said this is not a terror attack. Well, because Joe Biden's still technically in charge of the country. Fox News has retracted an earlier claim that the truck crossed the border in Eagle Pass, Texas. Actually, the truck crossed the border on Eagle Pass, Texas on November 16th So it still did cross the border, but it wasn't 2 days ago, as Fox News reported. Again, breaking news
According to
environment
federal
here.
sources, the suspect drove a truck with that Texas license plate. Okay, so this is just coming into our newsroom. This is from Griff Jenkins and David Spunt working their federal sources on this. The suspect drives that truck with a Texas license plate right through Bourbon Street. According to their sources, to Spunt and Jenkins, this person came through Eagle Pass, Texas 2 days ago, okay? So we're gonna leave that up on your screen. And these are just those new photos. I just keep thinking, from covering these things that...
So again, Fox has...
You know, the Landrys, that's what a friend of mine, JD, told me back many days ago in Rudy Land, in the very beginning, of the soapbox. That when they got desperate enough, the last ditch effort would be sleeper cells. He always said that. And he was one of those guys that really knew a lot about like 9/11 and stuff. But every time somebody says it, makes me think of that conversation that we had, that he had about that. That's what he said.
Corrected that by saying that they came through, this truck did come through Eagle Pass, Texas, not 2 days ago, but in November. So after the presidential election in November 16th, we'll see if that is relevant. This the truck was rented in Turo. Here's the photo of the Ford electric truck, ladies and gentlemen. And for some reason, New Orleans did not use their hydraulic steel barriers. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Fox News, again, has retracted the reporting that the truck just crossed from Mexico. Maybe some people thinking this could be cartel violence or something like that. But again, the man was found with body armor, explosives, and an ISIS flag. So pretty clear what the motive is here, right? It goes clear. This is obviously terrorism. Joe Biden doesn't seem concerned about this at all. Biden on New Orleans, you got my statement. I
don't know. I just sometimes say things that cross my mind. The minute we started talking about that, y'all remember like when Antifa was doing all the rioting and stuff? Do you remember that video? I know y'all guys have seen it, that people played during that time of that dude that was completely blacked out, had the black face mask on, had like the black hood pulled over his head, and he just walks up to a building and starts smashing out windows and then just walks off. Like they were trying to trigger people to be destructive. And we all kind of dug into that story and said he looked awful suspicious, kind of like an Epps kind of type. We just walked up and did it and then walked away. And weird stuff going on.
More to say.
Yeah.
I've spoken to every member.
I think it was with Amber.
Of the agencies. Anger and frustration, Donald Trump saying, well, I said that criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our own country. Statement is constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media. It turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts will go out to the innocent victims and loved ones and the brave officers in New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans. They will investigate to recover from this pure act of evil. And this is President Trump sounding off the FBI, saying this morning the individual drove the car into the crowd of people on Bourbon Street. We are working with our partners to investigate this as an act of terrorism. So that's the FBI. At time of recording, what we know here and what has been released from the police department in New Orleans, and there's a lot of wrong information about this stuff, and people always get it wrong. So we wait. Din Jabbar is the individual, and that he was carrying an ISIS flag in his truck. The truck also had explosives in it, and he was kitted out with military tactical, absolute and pure evil. Something completely sick.
It's just weird to me that the barricades weren't up. As I know it is with you guys.
Barricades were not up.
During a New
Why? So he attacked. No
celebration.
Did he know the barricades were not up? Did they know? The truck had crossed into the U.S. and Mexico border last month. Why wouldn't you put the barricades up, especially on New Year's Eve, which has got to be one of the all-time highest population densities of this location? It's called hardening the target, right? So you harden the target. You make it so that somebody can't drive or carry a weapon through these areas where there's tons of people, right? And use vehicles as weapons. in this type of circumstance. But, ladies and gentlemen, the gunman and the terrorist is dead. 10 Americans, pray for their families. We're going to be following up with this breaking story. I cannot wait. We must have order back in this country, law and order. We must have Trump back in this country, President Trump back in this country, and people who are actual adults in charge.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up something that I don't think it's bad because it's just, if I can find it, Sons. Five Eyes Outlet, Daily Mail. I don't know what this is. He just dropped it. New Orleans terrorist sparks mystery over a hidden object spotted in the back of his EV. Electric vehicle used by the New Orleans terrorists to plow into a crowd of revelers celebrating the New Year's on Bourbon Street sparked a mystery after a hidden object was spotted. Oh, what is going on here? Was spotted in the back of his SUV. 15 people were killed, 35 were injured after the white Ford SUV. And I don't know if y'all know this, but I covered that whole stuff that happened in what was it called? Washoe County, where the guy plowed through the Christmas parade. I followed that whole trial. Daryl, his name was Daryl too. It's not Brooks, because we know that is. I can't remember his last name. Did the whole trial. That was a crazy dude. You ever seen that trial? That dude represented himself. It was a nightmare to watch. I needed like a month break after watching that daggum thing. It says drove into pedestrians ringing in 2025 in New Orleans. Following the horrific tragedy, an image of what appears to be a flagpole in the back of Jabbar's truck circulated online, sparking max speculation. Photos taken after the collision show that what appears to be a metallic gray jacket wrapped around the flagpole, but a video shot earlier in the morning showed what appeared to be a black flag dangling from the same pole. Well, I'm going to believe the one shot earlier and not the ones that, caught, you know how that goes. The vehicle was reported carrying an ISIS flag and a chest with explosives. This truck was used to kill 15 in the massacre. Came from the U.S. from Mexico through Eagle Pass, Texas over a month ago. It was earlier misreported that 2 days ago. Okay, we've got that straight. The vehicle was rented from Turo, a car sharing app. Oh, that's great. Another 42-year-old man who lives in Houston has already been contacted by federal investigators. Well, I would hope so. The FBI has formally confirmed that they're investigating the tragedy as an act of terrorism after New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell said she had spoken to the White House, blah, blah, blah. Now, that's weird. Oh, he looks like a nice guy. That's somebody you want your damn daughter to date, okay? Yep. All right, is this some video of it? I'm on the fly here. I just pulled this from Sons out in chat. So, warning something. The following video contains images that some may find upsetting. Okay. It's disturbing. Jabbar was killed in shootout. Well, I mean, play stupid games with stupid prizes. Guns and pipe bombs were located inside the truck. The devices were contained in coolers. Sound familiar? Who else was carrying incendiary devices? I don't know, somebody in Pennsylvania that got on top of a roof that with a rangefinder that rally goers were calling out and yelling to the police, but apparently they couldn't take time to, quote, investigate. Further potential explosive devices were also found in the French Quarter. Surveillance footage caught three other men and one woman planting the bombs around New Orleans. Oh, great. So there's 4 other people. We do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible. Oh, there's a group of them. That's what you want to hear. Assistant Special Agent FBI, New Orleans, blah, blah, blah. The official said in improvised explosive device. We already read that. Okay. He was wearing full body armor. We already know that. What I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country. That statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true, he wrote. That was what Trump said. So, yeah, Yeah, that is. See, you can see the line, and it is like they wrapped a jacket around it. That's weird. That's weird. Okay, well, let's see what happens. That is strange that, remember what happened here in Tennessee at Nashville, that girl that shot up that Christian school. Remember, it took a Steven Crowder leaking some parts of that manifesto, and they were like, "Oh, we don't. The family doesn't want it released or whatever." Sure, okay, sounds legit. So there's that. Well, freaking Happy New Year's. That's horrible. What the hell did you? Oh damn! I just closed it out. I'm at the. If y'all have anything, I think Sassy Point posted something and I missed it. The whole Cybertruck deal, that was egregious. I've been wanting to get to a story, by the way, that has encouraged me too. I think I told y'all about it, but I couldn't do it on Christmas. Now it's New Year's, but that whole Billy Carson thing that happened, where he was kind of called out and had that debate. There's a lot of stuff that I've had pulled that I want to go over, but I can't ever seem to get to it. But we will. I'll keep it in the chamber because it is really interesting what happened there, and I feel like it's important to kind of cover because that guy went out for years unchallenged and said some really crazy stuff. And I'll tell you, I had a conversation today with somebody that I don't call out any names or anything, but like that I thought was pretty stringent Christian, had their feet firmly planted on the ground. And the conversation went on. It's gone for a whole different reason, but it morphed into something different. But as the conversation went on, they started talking about like kind of the Billy Carson thing about how, there's one God and then religion is all used to control. And it kind of floored me. I was like, what? And I was polite about it. I was like, well, you can have your beliefs and, do what you want to do. And, you have the freedom to make up your own mind. I said, I just don't buy it. I said, and I said, I'm not somebody that's not willing to listen, or listen to somebody else's opinion. I listened to that Green Emerald Tablet talk thing on my way to Atlanta one time. I listened to the whole book. Then come to find out by Wesley Huff, there was no ever evidence that thing was ever real. And one guy wrote the book about it. There's no evidence. They produced nothing to show you the actual tablets themselves. I was like, holy crap, the amount of people that dude has talked the Sinaitic Bible. He said that there was no evidence of the crucifixion, but the Sinaitic Bible is actually just another version of the Bible. The crucifixion's in there. And it was just kind of like what floored me. So I was like, oh, maybe I need to cover this stuff more because a lot of people do a lot better job than I do. But, I was floored by it. I kind of was like, wow, you believe that stuff? Okay. But again, people can believe what they want to believe. It is a free country for now anyway. But I've read something the other day. I don't know if you know this, but apparently people getting incarcerated for them sharing jokes and stuff online or something. Was it Washington or something like that, talking about how they're trying to pass a law, quote, hate speech. If you're mean to somebody, you can be considered a misdemeanor. And if you do it enough, it's a felony. I was like, here we go. We're turning into Canada, or the UK is now doing it. So I don't know. Hopefully we put a stop to that by this last election. And there's enough people now getting involved politically to push against this crap, because that's the first thing they'll try to take away is your right to express how you feel and say it publicly. Take down these podcasters that are doing really, really well and trying to tell the truth and digging into actual history and admitting when we get it wrong. I don't mind if people get stuff wrong. We all take those journeys. We all make mistakes. It's whether or not they'll come out and apologize or admit that they made a mistake or say that, hey, I messed up here. Maybe, I need to dig a little bit further or something like that. That's what they want to stamp out, because that's what happened after, COVID. And we're all so sick of hearing about COVID. And I think that's the intention. They flood the media with it. Then you get tired of hearing about it. But then as you're watching these last few weeks and few months, the amount of evidence that's come out that we were all correct. We weren't lying to anybody. We were actually reading the reports, the research that was coming out of Italy and Israel and Japan and all this other stuff. We were trying to spread the message on it. Then people would get shut down, removed off the X, removed off Instagram, have your Facebook account shut down. Did we ever get an apology for that? Did anybody ever come back to us and say, you know, my bad. We should have never taken your account down because, you know, you were just telling the truth. No, that didn't happen. Well, we didn't get none of that. Half of us didn't even get our accounts back. So it is what it is. And I don't know, but I hope I'll get into that next time because I do think it's important to cover. And just try to remember out there that we are all on the same team. We might have different positions on the field, and we might not even really like it. We might disagree vehemently on certain things, but at the end of the day, we all want what's best, I believe, for this country. Our heart's in the right place. We might make a few, mistakes trying to get there, but, just try to remember, try to love your neighbor, and give them a little leeway. And with that, it is my time. And the boys back in town. Okay, Tim and Clay are here. I'm so glad you got the messages, boys. Timmy, Tim. Damn it, Tim.
Good evening.
Good evening, my brothers. Happy New Year's.
Yep. Happy New Year's to you.
Well, I hope y'all have a wonderful show, and I hope I'm the best host you've ever run up against, because I'm gonna say hi, and then I'm gonna get the hell up out your way.
All righty, take care.
All right, you too.
Good night, Laura.
You too, Clay. Night, guys.
Night.
Happy New Year's, people.
All right, folks, in solidarity to all the political prisoners around the world, including January 6th, includes Alberta, and especially all our veterans out there, we play our national anthems at this time in their honor.
Stars through the perilous